It's about leadership in Africa. Um, and until Africans demand the sort of leadership they need to fix their problems, we will have the continuous issues you suggest.
Long before becoming the head of a major political party, Alexander B. Cummings was making history in the corporate world as the first Liberian to run a major section of Coca-Cola, a Fortune 500 company.
First thing I can tell you about him is he has a big heart. He loves his Liberian people, and he always loved Liberian people and his country, always. He's a giving person. He likes to give people the benefit of the doubt. He'll trust you first until you prove otherwise.
I ran the Coke business in Nigeria. I was business unit president for about half of Africa. And then for almost 7 years, I ran the entire Africa group for the Coca-Cola Company.
Born in 1956 at the Old Government Hospital in Monrovia, Alex, the third of 4 children and the only son, he would attend elementary school at Demonstration and high school at the College of West Africa.
Alex and myself, we became friends in 1971. That's about 45 years ago. We met in the 10th grade and we just became fast friends.
I love music. If people want to know, I actually like to dance. It surprises people that I do. And actually, I think I'm a pretty good dancer, by the way.
He's a good dancer. Yes. But so am I.
Don't let nobody stop you from having yourself a ball.
I remember there was a song that was called Mr. Big Stuff. Who do you think you are, Mr. Big Stuff? And that was a song that he used to like a lot.
Alex probably started to dance. I know this even today when he likes a record, he sings it. You know, when he's singing it, he's dancing it. You can hear him humming the songs, you know.
And one characteristic of Alex was he could snap his finger. I mean, he would snap his finger while he's dancing. You could hear it all over the place.
I have a great sense of humor. Again, that's not always obvious, but I like to have fun.
When he lets his hair down, he loves jokes. He's a dry sense of humor, but it's funny to him, which is okay. But yeah, I mean, he's just like everybody else. He loves to dance. He loves being around people and entertaining and letting his hair down. So, yeah.
As a child growing up in Liberia, I had a few memorable moments. I always enjoyed playing football. Again, as I said, it's not something I played very well, but I played with a lot of enthusiasm, and so I'm still a big fan of football.
By 1980, Alex Cummings returned to the United States to continue his education. He attended Clark Atlanta University, where he earned a degree in business. There, Alex Cummings also met his wife, Teresa.
I was coming from class at Atlanta University one day, and this young lady yelled across Spelman's campus as I'm walking on and said, "Teresa, come and meet your future husband." And I was like, who is this guy and why is she embarrassing me on campus like this? But I went up and I met him and I said, "How do you do?" He had just come over from Liberia to pursue his master's in business.
It was always the plan to go home after undergraduate school, work for a few years, get some real life practical experience, and then come back to graduate school. So that was not because of the cool necessarily, or because I wanted to go back and get an advanced degree.
And so we started dating, and by 1982 we got married.
I met Teresa after they had gotten married. After they had gotten married, he brought her to New York, and we all went out to eat in the village, in Greenwich Village.
After graduate school, Alex accepted a role at the Pillsbury Company. There he quickly moved up the corporate ladder.
We moved to Minneapolis, where at the time I was pregnant with my daughter, Ayo, the eldest. She was born in Minneapolis. He worked for the Pillsbury Company at the time. We were there for 2 years. Then we moved to Allentown, Pennsylvania, where I was again then pregnant with my son, Boy Kai. Then we moved to New Jersey, a little small town called Hopatcong, New Jersey. At the time, he was working for Haagen-Dazs. And then he moved back with the Pillsbury Company back to Minneapolis 3 years later. We were in Minneapolis then from 1987 to 1997. 1997, he received a call from a headhunter who was interested in recruiting him for the Coca-Cola Company.
And then I joined the Coca-Cola Company, where I lived and worked in Nigeria, ran our business in Nigeria very successfully. Moved to Nairobi, Kenya, where I ran half of Africa for Coca-Cola from Kenya, did that very successfully. And then I moved to Morocco, running a different half of Africa, and then ultimately to London, where I ran all of Africa for the Coca-Cola Company from London for almost 6 years. Moved our group offices to Johannesburg, and so I lived in South Africa running the group from there. And then my last job at Coca-Cola had global responsibility for most of the company, most of the functions.
From class president to Coca-Cola CAO, head of Africa, Alex Cummings has now turned his attention to a difficult task: politics.
And I asked him, I said, why are you doing this? He said, Robert, everything that I am today, it's Liberia that made me to be what I am today. So I have this deep desire to give back. So then I asked him, well, why necessarily looking at the top position? He said, because that is the most impactful way that you can make a change. He wants to change the paradigm, do a paradigm shift in Liberia thinking.
Is seeking the presidency the only way to change the lives of Liberians? No. Is it the most impactful way to do it? Yes. If you want to impact all 4.2 million Liberians, that office is the best way to do it.
Alex will create the atmosphere, knowing Alex and knowing the good intention Alex has, knowing the person Alex is. He will create the atmosphere that will provide opportunities for that market woman, for her to be able to do her business, to provide micro loans for her if she needs it, to be able to expand her business, and for her to be able to support her family.
He said to me, he said, Robert, I'm doing this because I think I can make a difference for Liberia. If I'm not successful, I'm just gonna roll up my sleeves and be of help to our country. So it is not like this is an ambition that if he doesn't get, he's gonna stop loving his country.
He does a lot behind the scenes. Doesn't have to necessarily get accolades for it. He doesn't mind that, just so it gets done. So that's the kind of person he is.
I'm optimistic about the Liberian people. I believe in the Liberian people. I believe we are smart people. I believe we're industrious people. I believe we're hardworking people. And I don't accept any of the contrary views of who we are and what we can be. Are there things we can do better and different as a people? Of course there are. Are there things I would like to see us do differently as a people? Yes. But again, you know, when you focus on the positives, when you set high expectations for people, they tend to live up to those expectations. And we have many examples of Liberians from the past who did very well and were first in doing many things. And we have Liberians today who are first and who are doing many good things that would move our country forward. So because I believe in Liberia and Liberians, I believe our country has a positive future, and I'm optimistic about that future.
Alex just wants to make a contribution. He just wants to make sure. He's a man who has learned a lot of best practices. He's a man who has run multi-billion dollar corporation and be at the pinnacle, at the top of this organization, Coca-Cola.
He likes to challenge you, to push you, because he can see potential in people that they can't see in themselves, and he can nurture and push people towards their potential.
He just wants to use the best practices to transform the Liberian society, bring another perspective to the way we've always done things.
He is genuine. He is level-headed. He is not someone who is overwhelmed by money, by success. He is just a modest, easygoing, good guy. And I hope Liberians will get a chance to listen to this good guy talk about what he wants to do for our country.